Hello, people. It's your boy, Usman, back again with another Manchester United podcast. The phone has been fixed. Yes, you heard me. I'm sure you can hear me. The phone has been fixed. Thank you, God. Not been able to make any content the last couple of days. You know, it's been bleak. I want to talk to you lovely people. But yeah, the phone's not been working basically. But listen, I am back. I'm back with a vengeance. Manchester United against West Ham. And it's live.
Talks United.
Yes, people, your boy is back. As always, get your comments in, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 1.3k. I feel like I've been saying that for eternity. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel right now if you haven't. But anyway, support the content, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, my socials are down below, all that good stuff. You know, we'll get into that. But listen, before we get ahead of ourselves and look at, you know, how West Ham and Man United are going to feature against each other tomorrow, you know, let's focus on some of the positives. Manchester United beat Brentford 3-1. Emphatic victory. Should have been 4. Bruno Fernandez should have scored. But does this paint the whole picture? Does this paint the whole picture? Well, I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure everyone agrees. It absolutely does not. I mean, listen, unless you were living under a rock or you didn't watch the game, it's fair to say that the Brentford manager, Frank, or Frank Large or whatever his name is, I don't remember his name. I just know one of his names is Frank. He wasn't best pleased with the performance, or he wasn't best pleased with the outcome. The guy went to absolute town in the post-match press conference, basically ridiculing Manchester United to the heavens, saying that we were lucky, we were X, Y, and Z, you know, we were jammy, you know, little old Manchester United parking the bus against Brentford, etc., etc., etc. And to be fair to him, he has a point. I mean, he's right. We were lucky in the first half. They absolutely did batter us. But guess what? We got the 3 points. That is the only thing I cared about. I didn't care about anything else. We needed those 3 points desperately. If we did not beat Brentford by hook or by crook, we would 100% been out of the top 4. It's not a title, because I keep saying that. Bloody hell, Lord have mercy. We would have been out of the top 4 without a shadow of a doubt. You know, West Ham, we can beat them. We can beat other teams, wherever it may be. But if we can't beat Brentford, what is the point? If we're going to drop points against everybody, then aren't we? Respectfully to them, you know, we should be beating teams like that. It's as simple as that. They did absolutely batter us in the first half. Make no mistake about it. We were shocking in the first half. Absolutely shocking. But that's football. You didn't score, Frank. You didn't score, man. And at the end of the day, you ain't got yourself to blame. You didn't take your chances. David De Gea doing what De Gea does best. You know, Superman and you know, De Gea just doing his thing, man. Soldier boy, tell him. But end of the day, Man United got 3 points. And look, Ralph, whatever you said at halftime, it worked. Whatever you said at halftime, my brother, it worked. Because these ones came out with like just complete different energy. You know, we were pressing, we were on them, the intensity, like moving the ball through the thirds, the players were moving the ball forward, and it was a complete different Manchester United, or Man United, that I haven't seen in a while. And the question on the title is the new system, the 4-3-3, benefiting Manchester United. Of course, I did do a show on numerous occasions with Koja and on myself, talking about system, talking about tactics. So that's something we will be doing in the very near future to see, is it benefiting Manchester? Now, of course, I'll delve into a bit more detail on those shows, but for the purpose of today's show, we will be looking at that and seeing how it's individually helping the midfield, etc., etc. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Coming back to the first half against Brentford, absolutely diabolical performance. Once again, Manchester United letting themselves down in every single department that you possibly can, including the consistent department, poor passing, and just sloppiness throughout the entirety of the pitch. They wanted the ball more. The intensity was high from them, and they were just playing us off the park. Made no mistake about it. But we held on. We held on for dear life. We got into half time, and Ralph shoved the rocket up these guys' asses. And as I've already mentioned, the second half we came out firing 3-1 in the second half. And listen, we deserve a lot of credit for the second half performance, but the first half has to improve massively for me. We can't continue to ride our luck in the first half and rely on David De Gea to get us out of issues. We need to start consistently performing at a higher standard. The second half performance is what I need to see over 90 minutes for me to start to believe that Rangnick is making progress. Until I see 90-minute performances and consistently week in, week out, I can't sit here and say Rangnick is massively improving. But what I can say is the 4-3-3 is definitely benefiting certain individuals. One in particular, Bruno Fernandez. Bruno came from Sporting like Cristiano. This guy here, right, in the last 2 games has registered 2 goals and 2 assists. Should have got a goal as well. Best Welbeck impression and all that. Poor effort from him. Through on goal, should have made it 4-1 in that moment in time. But nevertheless, again, first half, shocking. Second half, brilliant. Against Aston Villa, he was phenomenal as well. Got 2 goals in that game. But, the Brentford game for me, I was very happy with Bruno Fernandes. Aston Villa, granted, very good performance. But the Brentford game for me, because we saw both sides of Bruno. In the first half, we saw the Bruno Fernandes that we all know. The Bruno Fernandes that is passing trying to make these ridiculous Hollywood passes every 5 seconds of the game. And for me personally, it's become an issue at Man United. I'm not going to lie. I understand that in his position, there's an element of risk with everything that he does. Of course, that is potentially going to... Of course, that's going to be the case in moments. However, you've got to be able to be calculated in those risks. And that is something that Bruno Fernandes, at the moment, hasn't shown us at Manchester United. Apart from these 2 games, I think for me, these 2 games in particular have been some of the best he's put in. I understand there's probably better overall performances in other games, but in terms of the change, the 4-3-3 and Bruno Fernandes sat in at 8, sat deeper, sat grafting for the team off the ball. He does that anyways, but winning the ball in the final third, winning the ball in their own third, driving forward. And I think Bruno Fernandes, for me, has been a marked improvement since we changed to the 4-3-3. Of course, consistency is key. And of course, it must continue for a longer period than just one half. I think that, as I mentioned, with the Brentford game, it's a perfect example of Bruno Fernandes' current issues. The first half, I thought he was trying to overcomplicate Hollywood passes, a lot of it. Second half, went back to simplifying it, keeping it simple, tiki-taka, moving the ball, getting into better position. I thought we benefit massively from, Bruno Fernandes being just better on the ball. His ball retention was better. We started to start attack and we started to control games. We weren't at stopping the ball, and a lot of that comes down not just to Bruno, but some of the other midfielders were keeping it simple. Keep the ball ticking. Just do your job. Don't try to overextend and know your capabilities. And that's what it's about for Bruno. He's got to know that sometimes, I haven't got that in my locker. I haven't got the capabilities as hitting a 50-yard diag. I just haven't got it in my locker. So he needs to stop doing it for me personally, because I've seen too many occasions that he hasn't come off. Of course, there might be the odd 1 or 2 occasions that he can show me that, Bruno Fernandes has done it and it's worked to perfection. But overall, it's wasted opportunity in terms of building the type. And that's something that the midfield definitely needs to improve on, which, as I mentioned, we saw massively in the second half. So look, I'm happy about the second half performance. I'm not going to lie. But we need to build on that. It's about building. It's about momentum. It's about consistency. I can't sit here as a Manchester United fan after the season that we've had and say, we've turned the corner or anything or even remotely close to that, because one thing we haven't seen from Man United, in terms of performances from individuals and results is consistency. The Brentford game, one half absolutely diabolical, second half fantastic. There's no consistency within the team, and that's something that we need to improve on if we're going to start to have success. But coming back to the 4-3-3 itself, as a system, for me personally, most Man United fans have wanted to play the 4-3-3. Of course, Rangnick came in initially and played the 4-2-2-2, and that didn't, work because we didn't have the players for that. I do think the 4-3-3 is definitely more suited to the players that we have currently got within the team. And I think for me, we're going to see a lot more success with this formation moving forward. Hopefully, they can continue to work on it in training, and hopefully they start to build a bit more chemistry in the middle of the park, because that is still getting overrun, in particular against any team, really, actually. I was about to say in particular against Wolves, but every game I can think of, the midfielders got overrun at some point in the game, be it for like 10-minute period or 15-minute period or 90 Pardon me, I'm just trying not to cough at the same time. A 90-minute period, let me just quickly get some water down me. But yeah, as I was saying, 4-3-3 for me, it definitely benefits a lot of the players. Let's move on to the centre-backs. The centre-back partnership for me, absolutely fantastic. It's a shame they're not playing together for West Ham because obviously we've got a couple of issues there. Lindelof, sadly, his house got broken into. I believe it was during the game against Brentford. So, rightfully so, he's pulled out the game because he wants to stay at home and protect his family. Completely understandable. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I hope he doesn't go into international duty and I hope he sorts it all out. Because obviously that's a scary thought, isn't it? Leaving your wife and kids at home, and he's got a newborn as well. So yeah, that's a terrifying situation for him to be in. So best wishes for him personally. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully his family's okay, etc. So yeah, no Lindelof. But I just want to talk about them. Lindelof and Varane for me in particular, absolutely fantastic as a partnership. I think they've done really well. I saw a stat where they won the most duels that any partnership that we've had this season have won, which is a phenomenal stat given, the fact that Maguire is like an absolute beast in the air, so to speak. But yeah, in general, they were really good defensively. Of course, towards the, in some parts of the game, they made a mistake here and there. And that's going to happen at the moment because we haven't got a proper midfield screening the back four, and they're really starting to suffer from that. And that has been a sort of a concern throughout the entire season. We need a DM to really protect the back four, and that's something we haven't got, which is why the back four suffers so much. But Varane and Lindelof for me is our best partnership by a country mile. I don't want to see any changes with that when both are available. Of course, Maguire will come in for West Ham, which we'll touch on shortly. But nevertheless, that for me, I'm happy. I'm happy with them as a backline. I said about partnership. I got no qualms with them. Obviously, Lindelof has his frailties, but on the ball, they're absolutely fantastic. Both of them, they move the ball very quickly from back to front. Something that we're gonna miss when Lindelof's not playing tomorrow. We're gonna see a massive change with Maguire as we did when he actually got subbed on. The guy's an absolute embarrassment of a player. I mean, he comes on and dilly-dallies with the ball for God knows how long, and does nothing with the ball. So, like for me personally, Maguire is a massive problem, and he takes too long on the ball, which slows us down in transition, which is a major issue for me. But it is what it is. He's playing tomorrow. We've got to just accept it. And sadly, you will have the captain's armband, which again is another issue. But we'll have to wait and see how that gets on. But regarding the Lindelof and Varane thing, I just want to see him get a run of games. At this point in time, Maguire's done absolutely nothing to warrant his starting place. He's done absolutely nothing to warrant a chance to be playing. So I would actually play Jones tomorrow, but that's for a different conversation. But yeah, to come back on the game itself against Brentford, Delon, fantastic. Let's just get this comment in. Delon and Tellers have been very good as well. Yeah, the fullbacks with me, very good as well. Obviously, defensively, a couple of issues here and there, but Delon defensively, I think he's improved quite a bit. Actually, more than I initially gave him credit for. I thought he was actually fantastic. And again, I've seen a stat where Delon made the most tackles, interceptions, etc. All the most aerial duels as well from him on a personal level. I mean, that's what you want. With Wan-Bissaka, on numerous occasions he's been caught lacking at backstay, and Delon was on job. I mean, defensively, against a very physical and a tall team, you had to be concentrating for majority of the game. And Delon was definitely doing that on many occasions. Back post, letting a runner run, making sure that he's well aware of what's around him. Again, something Wan-Bissaka doesn't do enough of. The only thing from both of them is I want to see more going forward from both of them. I thought we saw it in moments, but just a bit more consistency and quality from crosses and set pieces. Still haven't scored from a set piece, which is a corner, I believe, which is absolutely ridiculous of a start. So that's something we need to improve on, and I think that just needs to improve. The overall quality from the width has to improve. So hopefully Delon and Tellez can carry that forward. But I'm happy for Delon. He's a massive upgrade on Wan-Bissaka in terms of his overall play. And I think at the moment he's more than warranted his start. And he did actually get the man of the match, which was a bit of a shock for me because I thought McTominay or De Gea probably should have got man of the match. But listen, one thing I will say is, the second half was a marked improvement. But Fred, for me, in the first half, and McTominay as well to an extent, bro, them two, man, I mean, it's wasted breath at this point because we know nothing's going to happen. But Fred and McTominay, man, they're just causing too many issues, man. The point, In that position, your job is to put out fires. That's your job. As a DM or someone who's screening, you've got to put out fires. That's your main priority. Ensure that this shit doesn't continue to happen. They're putting more fuel on the fire constantly. Bad touch, passing the ball away, putting pressure on Manchester United. And that's something, for me, that's a massive headache because it's something that we don't need. Like, it's an extra thing. There were so many moments that we're passing the ball out well from the back and the ball gets a Fred. He's overhit his touch. He's overhit the pass. I mean, the amount of times he just does this, puts his hand up, like, just do me a favor. Do the basics, bro. Do the absolute basics. Like, I'm not asking you to be bloody Tony Cruz or something. Do the basics. Do the basics. So, yeah, Fred infuriated, but second half, again, as I said, stepped up, got the fantastic assists for Elanga, which we're just going to get up on screen now. If I have the picture, I think it's this one. Yeah, it is. Okay, so please ignore the fact that I haven't got a share screen because my laptop's it just needs charging basically. It's on some update. But anyways, basically this is the goal that Manchester United scored. The first goal, as I just mentioned, Fred, his passing wasn't great, but in this moment, Fred picks out an absolute peach of a ball. As you can see, you know, from the rectangle, there's a bit of an area for him to hit. How is that area, you know, how has that area been formed? Well, I'll tell you how that area has been formed. Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at Ronaldo. This guy, yeah, people don't want to give him credit. People say he doesn't do enough movement. In basketball, they call this gravity, basically meaning a player, you know, is dragging a lot of people. They got gravity because a lot of people gravitate to them, which opens up space for other players. And quite clearly, from this picture, you can see that Cristiano Ronaldo is dragging players, which allows Elanga the space to run in behind. Fred expertly finds the pass, not a sentence I thought would say often, but nevertheless, he finds the pass, and that pass does not happen or isn't on if Ronaldo does not drag the players. Again, people will say, oh, this is absolute nonsense. You're just a Ronaldo fanboy merchant, etc. I'm sorry, but if you don't understand simple concept of a player having gravity and taking players away and opening space for others, then that's on you. This is clear as day that Cristiano Ronaldo does this time and time again. Of course, you're going to gravitate to Ronaldo. Of course, you're going to see Ronaldo and automatically think, okay, I need to get tight to this guy. And that is going to give opportunities for others, you know, to potentially have more time on the ball. And Elanga capitalizes, which makes it 1-0 to Manchester United. And look, at the end of the day, people will criticize Ronaldo, people will praise Ronaldo. There needs to be a happy medium. There's things that Ronaldo is doing wrong, and there's things that Ronaldo is doing right. Can he do X, Y, Z more? Absolutely. Is he getting enough praise for the things that he is currently doing? I don't think he is. Now, for me, as the image quite clearly shows, there's a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily see or pick up on the cameras, and that's something that we need to focus on. You know, a lot of people are so quick to point out the negatives about Ronaldo, and I understand you can be critical, and that's completely understandable. But at the same time, Ronaldo is a massive asset to Man United, and it's important for me as a Manchester United fan to, you know, give praise where it's due and criticize players where it's due. Agenda aside, if Ronaldo's not good enough, you know, fair play, man. I'll say it. But for me, people are saying his movement off the ball is not good enough. From the image, you can quite clearly say his movement is creating space for other people, and that is very integral for Elanga's goal. And lo and behold, as the second image shows, the second goal exactly the same. I'm sure more people will acknowledge this one because he was directly involved. The first one, he wasn't necessarily involved because he did touch the ball, which is why people won't give credit to him. But this one, he was directly involved. Phenomenal pass from McTominay to pick out Ronaldo, who's practically on the halfway line. And he plays a brilliant chest pass for the on-running third-man run from Bruno Fernandez. This, of course, was for Mason Greenwood's goal. Phenomenal chest pass from Ronaldo. Brilliant pass from Scott McTominay. Great counter-attack from Man United. And just overall great play. Great transition play more than a counter-attack, really. Again, players gravitate towards Cristiano Ronaldo. And this scenario is a bit, it's a bit less obvious because, you know, that player has to get tight to Ronaldo in that scenario. But the ball gets played to Ronaldo from McTominay. He plays the chest, and as you can see from the rectangle, the space in behind is exploited once again, this time by Bruno Fernandez, who then squares it to Greenwood to get our second, I think it was, of the night. Again, Ronaldo heavily involved in that goal. was involved in the other goal, but people didn't see it, which is completely fine. For me personally, you know, Ronaldo, I thought he had a good game. People weren't happy with him. However, in saying that, it was the right substitution to take him off. I thought, you know, Ralph dealt with the whole situation absolutely phenomenally, and I have no qualms with the way Ralph dealt with it. But coming back to Ronaldo, I was overall happy with his performance. People, you know, upset that he's moaning about coming off, etc. Listen, he's a winner for starters, and secondly, the guy wants to score goals, man. The amount of people that have sold down the lines have been sold. It's not that deep. He's been doing it his entire career, and he's a world-class player. He's one of the greatest of all time. Does that make him a bad player that he's moaning off the side? Absolutely not. It's not that deep. And Ralph dealt with it fantastically well. So no qualms whatsoever. But yeah, that's just a bit on Ronaldo. Obviously mentioned Bruno Fernandez. Elanga, regarding him just very quickly, absolutely elated for him. You know, he got a goal that he massively deserved for all the hard work he's put in since Ralph has come. Ralph, from the very first moment that he's come in, has said Elanga has impressed me the most. His work ethic, his dedication to his craft has impressed me. And look, at the end of the day, it's a clear message to the rest of the team. You work hard, you get your chances. And luckily for him, he took his chance once again. He had a good game against the Villa. I'm happy on a personal level that he got that goal. I believe it was his first in the Premier League, and hopefully one of many to come. Great play from him, great movement. Want to see more from that from Elanga in general. He's got the raw pace. He's got the raw talent. He just needs to listen to Ronaldo and the other people around him and just be a sponge and taking that information. But from him, on a personal level, he's one of our own. He's from the academy, and that's, you know, all you can do is be happy for him. So at the end of the day, positive for Elanga. Another positive. There were quite a few positives, to be fair, in the second half. Another positive, and it was a massive positive. Marcus Rashford scored. Again, this wouldn't normally be a headline, especially off the back of the last 2 seasons where he's been fairly good statistically. But this season, as we know, the storm has been brewing. The Marcus Rashford storm has been brewing. PR merchant, you know, everything on the sun. People have been calling it him. And for me personally, he needed that badly. I mean, if anyone on that pitch needed to score, it was Marcus Rashford. I mean, look, at the end of the day, confidence and goals breed confidence. And we need our players in the back end of the season to be as confident as possibly can, finding the net and just building on that. And this is a good building block for Rashford. And he got taken out of the limelight, if it was an injury or not. Rightfully so, in my opinion. He's come back in, he's come off the bench, and he's basically sealed the game. Obviously, they did go and score, but we got, you know, Maguire doing his best Maguire impression. But yeah, look, they scored to make it 3-1, but it was too much. Fantastic finish. Bruno Fernandez, very pivotal, alongside Scott McTominay, who was outstanding in the second half. Very pivotal in the goal. Scott McTominay doing a lot of the work. Plays it to Bruno, who finally gets away at the pass wrong. And the finish was absolutely emphatic. The finish was not of someone who is low on confidence. The finish was brilliant. Top right corner, you can't stop those. And for me, that's what you want to see, man. That's what you want to see. There are 3 academy boys scoring, and McTominay putting in a man of match performance in the second half of all. So 4 academy boys delivering the second half of Manchester United. You know, can't complain. Absolutely buzzing with that. Happy days, etc. And listen, we move on. We move. So at the end of the day, you know, it was a good performance from Manchester United second half, as I've already mentioned. A lot of positives to take into the West Ham game. I'm very nervous for the game. I am actually on BBC Radio, BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC 5 Live tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock UK time, if you're available or if you're awake, whoever, to join me to preview that game on there as well with a West Ham fan. But nevertheless, regarding the game in general, look, for me personally, first things first, my first initial emotion to that game is it's going to be unbelievably hard. West Ham are a team that are currently sat above us. They're also a team in general that have been very resilient, very difficult to break down throughout the entire season. They're looking good for goals. They've got a lot of quality in the final third. They've got players on form. Bowen, Rice, etc. Antonio starting to get goals. He's starting to put performances game. And overall, they're going to be a difficult proposition for us. So for me, I'm very skeptical going into this game. There's a lot, that we can look at, in terms of this game and dissect. But first things first, from a Manchester United perspective, we're going into this game with a very polar opposite performance in the sense that one half was shocking and one half was absolutely fantastic. So which half is going to turn up for Man United? And that is the question on every Manchester United fan's lips. At the end of the day, Man United don't turn up. We don't win this game, but it could get messy because West Ham, unlike Brentford, have got quality in the final third to really hurt us. We've seen other teams previously under Ollie's tenure in particular have massively punished us. De Gea has tried his best to save us in this game, but it's just not happened for him. And it's important that we get off to a good start. Man, I'm sick and tired of saying the same thing, but it's so true. We can't go into that game with another poor start. It's integral that we hit the ground running, and it's very important that we come with a second half performance that we did against Brentford, against West Ham in the first half. If that does not happen, they could be outside. I mean, quite frankly, it's that bad, especially with the fact that Maguire is probably going to be one of the players to come back into the team. So for me, which Manchester United turn up? That's my first question. It's hard to really say, to be honest with you. As I mentioned very early on into the podcast, we're very sporadic, we're very inconsistent. There's not really anything we can say in terms of having any faith that we're going to turn up and be, actually perform to a certain level. West Ham going to end you like your headphones. West Ham, Jace. Yes, Jace. What are you saying, Jace? What are you saying? I don't know where my headphones are, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, they're over here. They're still working fine. It's all good. Jace, listen, I'll chat to you Saturday after the game, because you're not going to be that confident. You're not going to be singing. But listen, for me personally, if Man United turn up, second half performance, I think we're more than capable of beating them. They're not going to be scared to come to Old Trafford. They've already had a good game against us. They have no reason to be scared of us, and that's completely fine. And I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, we need to earn that right for people to be scared of us. And at the moment, we are not doing that. And quite rightly, people are not feeling us and they're not respecting us. No issues with that. But for me, we need to focus on ourselves. If we turn up and play to the best of our ability, we can beat West Ham. We've shown it already this season in the league that we can beat them. Yes, they beat us in the cup, but again, in the cup, we were absolutely shocking. West Ham outfought us. They wanted the ball more. They win the second ball. We win the first ball. And that it could be the tail of this, fixture tomorrow, and that's something that does worry me. Our players notoriously don't look as hungry as our opposition on the ball. And the amount of times, the second they win the second ball, the third ball, etc., is a massive issue for me. So hopefully that's something we can improve on. Hopefully the players come with the right mentality. It's a big game for us. Let's make no mistake about it. West Ham are a good team, and we need to get a result. We got Jason. I got a good feeling we're going to turn up and press hard. I mean, if you press hard, Donny will play when it gets lost. We'll come to Donny shortly. If you press us, hype the pitch, which you definitely should do, I expect you to have a lot of success, because obviously Fred and McTominay are going to play. Let's keep it real. And them two are the least press-resistant players that we've caught in the squad, probably. Yet they continue to play against high-pressing teams. So the West Ham come with energy, and they come to really try to scare us or hurt us, so to speak. They probably get some success. Of course, Bowen, massive problem. Bowen is on the form of his life. Probably deserves an England call-up. I'm assuming he's going to get one. But Bowen's a massive problem. I mean, he's got all the confidence in the world. Although you bottled in your last game with that miss in the last kick of the game. But listen, nevertheless, Bowen, top quality player. As I already mentioned, Antonio, Declan Rice, these mans are going to be on it. They're going to be wanting to cause an upset. At the end of the day, it's a huge game for West Ham as well. Both teams fighting for top four, and if West Ham were to go ahead and get 3 points at Old Trafford, that is going to give them a lot of confidence going into the remainder of the season to try push on and really get a bit successful. Coming back to Manchester United, in terms of what we can do going forward, I think it's important that we play our own game. As I was saying, control the game. That's something Ranić speaks very highly of, and that's something we've seen in moments at Manchester United. And when we have seen it, we've actually looked like a decent team against Aston Villa. There was moments that in the first half against Aston Villa, we completely controlled the game, nullified their attacking threat, and we looked very well drilled defensively. That's something that needs to happen in this game, because as I've already mentioned, West Ham will kill us off otherwise. But again, it just comes down to the application. It comes down to how bad the players want it. For me as a fan, it's very easy to say it's a big game, but Are the players aware of it? Are the players going in with the right mentality? It's hard to say at the moment because we're so sporadic in the way we play football. But in terms of what I want to see from us, I want to see us get on the ball and keep the ball. I don't care how long the attacks are. Very similar to how we played on LVG. Obviously, that was frustrating at moments, but I want us to be patient in the build-up, not forcing the attack like Bruno Fernandez does, and just bide our time. It's important that at home we take the ownership. We can't let West Ham come to our patch and dominate the ball. That's happened too many times under Ralph Carrick and Oli this season. That's something that's a massive issue. And for me personally, we got to set the precedent as we always got to as a home team, and not allow them to get comfortable. You know, the first 15, 20 minutes, we've got to make sure they know they're in the game, because if we allow them to settle in, this West Ham team, without a shadow of a doubt, can hurt us from set pieces, counter-attacks, open play in general. You know, they're a problem, as they've shown against many of the big teams. Do you think Ronaldo would start? I don't think he's injured. I mean, there's reports saying that he's probably missing the game, but I've got a feeling it's just a lie. It's an interesting one because I don't. It's hard to really say, to be quite honest with you. But hopefully he's available. You know, we need a lot of big hitters to be available. We haven't had enough rest, to be honest. I mean, I don't know about that one, Dave. But what's your front three here? We'll come to that very shortly. Get into my starting 11 and squad prediction. But yeah, our strengths going into this game and how we can hurt them. It'd be interesting to see if Zuma's playing. If Zuma's playing, that's a massive positive for West Ham. But of course, if he's not playing and Diop or Dawson are playing as a pair, that's going to be advantage Manchester United. And I think that's something that we could potentially latch on to. But yeah, in terms of us, please just control the ball. Nothing sloppy in the middle of the park. And just do your bloody jobs, man. Do your flipping job. But yeah, let's get into the team lineup and the score prediction. Just before we do get into that, I just want to say shout out to everyone that is tuning in. As always, if you are watching us on a repeat, please do slap a like on that video. And if you are new, please do subscribe to the channel. I make a lot of content for you Liverpool people. I've not made any in the recent days because, quite frankly, my phone's not been working. That is the only reason. Otherwise, I would have had another extra podcast in there somewhere and a watch along. But nevertheless, we are back. Hopefully with a match reaction tomorrow. If not, we will sort something out in the near future. But anyways, let's talk football. Lineup for me. Obviously, get your lineup in the chat. Obviously, if you're watching us repeat, get this in the comment section. First things first, lineup. Let's just go straight to the back line. David De Gea, net, absolute no-brainer. Delo and Tellers keep the positions because the two other players aren't even available. But I let them keep the positions anyways because they deserve that thing. Centre back for me is where I would make them a biggest change to what Ralph is probably most likely going to do. And that change is very simple for me. Phil Jones comes in for Victor Lindelof. There's no way on God's given earth that I allow Harry Maguire to play at Manchester United ever again. But obviously, I'm not the manager and I don't have a say in that. I'm expecting Maguire to start, which is automatically putting me on the back four, somewhat advantage to West Ham because he's a liability, even against Brentford when he came on. As I mentioned earlier, just causing problems for us. Just fills me with absolutely no confidence. So yeah, Maguire playing is definitely a worry for me. But yeah, coming back to what I was saying, Phil Jones for me deserves to start. Played against Wolves, phenomenal performance on an individual level. Maguire's done absolutely nothing in the last couple of games to suggest he deserves to be starting. Literally nothing. So I would love it if Ralph starts Jones over Maguire. That would be a brilliant message for me personally. But yeah, I'm going to go Maguire on the bench, Jones, and that man, Rafael Varane, who for me has been absolutely fantastic since he's come to Man United. Probably doesn't get enough plaudits for whatever reasons, but I think he's been a breath of fresh air, and the quality is quite clear in terms of from him and Maguire. It's just night and day, really. Top quality centre back, and overall just elated to have him there. But yeah, moving on from Varane, moving on to the middle of the park, still going 4-3-3. So the midfield three. It's hard to really say because it's difficult to really predict what Ralph is going to do. Is he going to bring Matic in, Matic, McTominay, Bruno? Is he going to go Matic, Fred, Bruno? Or is he going to go Fred, Bruno? I don't think in any scenario Donny van de Beek gets in this. I mean, that probably goes without saying, to be honest. But for me, personally, as I always say, if you're playing 4-3-3, with 2 8s, Donny van der Beek makes my team. Again, that's just me personally. I would be more than happy to see him instead of Fred. So I would go McTominay, either in the the furthest behind of the base. Sorry, of the three, with what's his name, Donny on the right, and then Bruno left side and mid, which is where he's played the last couple of games. And I thought he's actually done really well, as I mentioned right at the start. Yeah, so for me personally, that's what I would go. I know it's not going to happen, so obviously it's a waste of time. But listen, nevertheless, that's my personal thoughts regarding that matter. I think because we're at home, it's important that we control the game, and we do our best to obviously just try to dictate play, because I think with Fred in there, there's always an issue with us keeping the ball and getting our foot on the ball and really putting a standpoint and authority on the game, especially at home as well. So it's important that we bear that in mind. But anyways, moving on to the front three. It's very simple for me, actually. Elanga on the left, on the right, Mason Greenwood, both of which that scored, which is great for them. And then up top, Cristiano Ronaldo. I do think Ronaldo is going to be fit to play this game. I know there are reports suggesting he won't be. So if that is the case and he's not available for whatever reason, I know a lot of people will put Mason Greenwood up top and then Rashford on the right. For me personally, I would actually bring Anthony Martial into the team. I know that's not a popular opinion for obvious reasons. However, I think against a very physical defence at West Ham and a physical team in general at West Ham have, I do think Greenwood would potentially struggle up top, especially when he's most likely going to be isolated. So I think for me personally, I would probably put Martial up top. I think he's more capable of dealing with the physical aspect of the game. Obviously, his capabilities of bringing players into the game, holding the ball, etc., building the tags. I think he's probably better suited to this game for the style of play I'm trying to play, which is controlling the game, that kind of thing. Basically, Martial lacking a false nine with Elanga and Greenwood running off him. If Greenwood was to play up front, he has scored a brilliant goal against West Ham. As he started in the number 9 position, that was away from home, and it was a top quality goal. I made no mistake about it, but I just think if he was to play up front, the physicality aspect, he's going to struggle. And secondly, Man United strikers at the moment tend to be massively isolated, so I think that could be a massive issue if Greenwood was to play up front on his own. That's the only reason I would go for Martial. And regarding Rashford, just quickly, so I've covered all bases. I just think that there's no issues with Rashford. I just want to see him off the bench. I don't want to see him, be thrusted into the limelight. I'm happy for him to have another cameo appearance. Potentially, if he's struggling in the game, come on and have another impact like he did against Brentford, and just allow him to play his way back into form and not put too much pressure on him. Because like I said, we need these players for the entirety of this season, and it's important that we give them a chance in terms of just don't rush him back in. Rashford's gone through a very difficult period, and I think it's important to look after him. Why does everyone think Ronaldo is a problem? He's literally keeping United on his shoulders. Good question. Good question, Carrie. Yeah, listen, regarding Ronaldo, some people think I've got an agenda because I'm so pro Ronaldo, but as I've demonstrated earlier with the images, which obviously you missed, for me personally, I just don't think Ronaldo's a problem at United. I do think there are issues with Ronaldo in the team, and I do think Ronaldo can cause problems. But overall, I think he offers more than he doesn't offer, if that makes sense. I think he's more of a positive than a negative on the team. So I think people need to just relax, get off his back, because we've got other bigger issues than Cristiano Ronaldo on the team. We need to start creating more chances, and the overall play needs to improve. I think the one thing I have said consistently is it's not a Ronaldo issue, it's a team issue. All of the front men aren't really performing to a high standard. There's no real team chemistry, and at the moment they're not really clicked, and that's something that needs to improve. It's a collective from a team, they all need to do better, and I think that's something that needs to change the most. People are going to put it on Ronaldo, obviously, because he's a big name and he's one of the good players out there. So it makes sense why people are looking straight to Ronaldo. You expect more from him potentially. But yeah, look, for me, I'm not too mad about it. Shout out to Eddie, big up Usman and people in the chat. Rashid will hopefully come back and be loved again. Absolutely, bro, man. Thank you, Eddie, for showing support, my guy. If you see both the goals, he is the one creating gaps and pulling defenders. bro, it's Curry. I already went through the images, my guy. Don't worry, bro. I got you, man. I don't know what part of the show it was in terms of what minute, but yeah, I have gone through the images and spoke about obviously how Ronaldo, and players gravitate towards him, and how much space he creates for other players. But I appreciate you coming through, bro, with the comment, man. You're bang on, but yeah, regarding Rashford, as I've said, let's not put too much pressure on him. He's going through a different period. Happy he got the goal. Hopefully, he can build on it. I won't be mad if he starts, but I just don't want to put that expectation on, because I just think his confidence was rock bottom prior to his goal, and he's just building it back up off the back of that goal. And so easy back in. I won't be mad if Martial starts, but again, I don't expect any of this, what I'm saying, to actually happen. It's probably going to be Greenwood up top, Elanga and Rashford, if those Ronaldo's not available, so to speak. Just coming to some of the other players that aren't available. Sancho is currently not available. Of course, he did have a family bereavement, so thoughts and prayers with his family. I believe his auntie passed away, from what his social media suggests. So obviously, thoughts with his family, condolences. Lingard, I believe he's out, injured. I don't know if he's available. If he's available, I'd like to see him have a cameo appearance. We did see in the initial time, the reverse picture, Lingard came on and had a huge impact and scored that fantastic goal, which sealed the game on that occasion. Other players that are potentially available that may or may not be available. I don't know what Ahmad Diallo is. He's still an African Cup of Nations, but I think that's pretty much it, really, in terms of everybody else that's available. I don't think anyone else is going to get a chance. But Ronaldo is an issue sometimes when he drops deep and doesn't offer much. But yeah, I don't get proper substitute. I mean, look, we could sit around the box and go around with the Ronaldo thing. There's a lot of facets to it. He doesn't get enough service for me, to be quite honest with you. Some people will say that's down to his lack of movement. Some people will say that's down to lack of quality in the middle of the park. I think maybe it might be a bit in between. Sometimes the movement's not there, so the people in the middle of the park struggle to really pick a lock, and then vice versa. He's gone to a point that he's so frustrated that the ball doesn't come that he may not believe in the players to deliver it, or the quality is not there. Look, is there something in between there? Look, at the end of the day, most of the players are culpable, but they're not performing, and that's something that needs to improve massively. But yeah, regarding Sancho, hopefully he's back with us soon. No problems with him being out, with family duties. Of course, that's the most important thing. Hopefully he can come back and rejuvenize and kick on, because he's not really done it this season. He's had good moments, but overall it's just not happened for him, to be quite honest. I expected a lot more from a guy of his caliber and quality, but it comes back to what I initially said. The players haven't really combined for goals. But with the positives of the Brentford goal, one thing I will say is, two of the front three, in fact, actually, Greenwood, Elanga, and Rashford scored. So that's 3 goals for the front line, which is a massive plus going into this game. So other people sharing the goals out. And also Bruno Fernandez got 2 assists as well. So you've seen Bruno Fernandez's, the last 2 games, his performances have been way better. A couple of the goals, a couple of the guys chipping with goals. Hopefully that can build the confidence of the attack line, and that will benefit us going into this game massively. Last comment, yeah, that's because of moving the ball forward and getting the team out of the press and creating numerical. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, bro. But we don't create enough overloads for me, which is the biggest frustration at Manchester United. That's something that we definitely need to improve on. And we need to commit more bodies forward. That's something that I've been very critical of. In particular, in the first half against Brentford, I thought we were way too reserved and way too safe in the manner in which we went forward. I thought we were barely committing bodies forward. They were massively overnumbering us. And it was just easy for them to defend against us. We had like 2 options up top against 6, 7 players defensively from Brentford, and that's where we fell flat in the second half. We start to see McTominay joining the attack, Fred was joining the attack, Bruno of course was joining the attack more, and we start to create those numerical advantages like you was talking about there. So yeah, that's something for me that needs to change. But listen, we're gonna wrap it there. Just get your score prediction in the chat. If you haven't already, please do slap a like on the video. I believe we're on 7 likes. Let's get to 10, of course. If you're watching this on repeat, please get your comments and your score predictions, etc., etc., etc. And just a general comments regarding the show. Any feedback is always welcome. But yeah, let's before I wrap it up, just get your score predictions in. Back to long, hopeless passes with Maguire. Yeah, I mean, Maguire's an absolute mess, to be honest. Maguire's an absolute mess. Hopefully, he gets the ball and keeps it simple, which is what we've seen a lot of with Lindelof in particular and Rafael Varane. Them two have just been moving the ball very quickly through transition, which has helped us massively, I think, personally. But that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, the United way said Man United to win 2-0. Love that bit of positivity. I'm going to stick with my prediction. But we're going to get your guys in. Curry 2-1 United. I'm assuming that's Man United. Eddie's also saying 2-1. Shout out to you. Listen, we've all gone for the same score. I'm going to say 2-1 to Manchester United as well. I think it's going to be a very difficult game, hard-fought game. I don't think there's going to be a clear dominant factor in the game. Potentially they could dominate us, but they've been more than capable of, doing the same to them. And we've shown in the previous game against them that we're more than capable of putting them to the sword. So for me, we need to be on job. This game is so important. It's important that we get the 3 points. I don't really care about the performance, to be quite frankly honest with you. It's just a matter of getting the 3 points on the board and getting to the international break. And then obviously we can kick on from there. Yeah. But listen, thank you as always for everyone that's tuned in. Please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everyone that is tuned in. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. Hopefully I'll be back with a watch along potentially. If not, I'll try my best to get a match reaction for you lovely people. If you haven't already, please do follow me on my socials. My Twitter and my TikTok is in the description or on screen, as you can see. I have started to upload very regularly on TikTok, and actually all the match reactions for the channel are actually on my TikTok as it currently stands. That is just something that I'm doing just to experiment and see where we go. But yeah, feel free to check those socials out. Apart from that, it's been your boy, man. Thank you as